Well, hello everyone.
Welcome to Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage 14 Talisman.
How are you guys doing on this wonderful, for me, Sunday afternoon? We're about to show you some more Spyro 2. This one being 14 Talisman, the old way of any percenting the game, until a faster method known as Gulp Skip was found a couple years ago. This is pretty much generally the marathon any percent, just because of how, I guess, smooth and how much there is to really show off in this. There's a couple different routes. I'll be showing off the slightly faster but a lot more wild theater route. A lot of stuff you'll see me going for in Summer Forest will differ from what my buddy Tooper here is doing, but he will be doing buying swim strats, which is pretty much an extra 500 gems. So I guess we will get started.
Alright, you want to count down?
Yeah, I'll count down this time. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we're both starting out in Glimmer here. Pretty much same kind of deal here from what you'll see pretty much until Idle. And then that's where it gets a lot different. Hoping to get a couple of these proxies that are actually in both of our routes, but we'll see. I don't really have a backup for it while Tooper does.
What you'll be noticing overall is that the main difference between what the two of us does is I'm just going to be sticking around in a few levels to collect a few more gems, whereas V-Snake is going to opt for a faster route. Get out of levels a little bit faster.
That's a good example right there. I missed that 2 basket that was behind, or the, I think it was the 10 basket. Gems don't mean near as much for my route, but for Tooper, again, he really needs to be careful with his gem routing and how much, I guess, he might miss out on, or just really knowing what and how to go for it in a good amount of time is the key to really getting good at this category.
So coming up, we have our first proxy of the run. The goal for each of us here is going to be very different. V-Snake is going to opt to go for the waterfall here, and I'm going to try and go around the level, collect more gems. Overall, though, the proxy is exactly the same for both of us.
I got it. Good. Quite different from yesterday during my 4-orb run, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm actually going to get that 5 gem. I missed one of those.
I missed the first one. That's okay, though. There's a backup.
Technically, bonking into that guy is actually a little faster. I don't know why, but it's saves slight frames. I did not mean to do that.
Why not?
So yeah, pretty much beetle, bug, whatever you like to call it. Very finicky proxy for a lot of newer runners, and even for, I guess, more developed runners like me, it's still very much up in the air.
Come on, dude. Alright, I didn't hit bug, so I'm gonna have to take a very long route around this.
But Tooper can use this to his advantage. He can get any gems he might need. Going around's actually not even that bad. Maybe about a 20-25 second difference, so.
Yeah. And the good thing about this is now in my next level, I won't have to stay around as long, so I'll be having a little bit of a time save there too.
But yeah, when things like that happen, it's just a matter of how can you compensate for it later, really knowing gem routing and placements and how to react to something, I guess, is the key for this category. Not only going for a PB, but actually getting good at it. So, Colossus here. I don't know what Tooper will be doing since he is doing a little bit more in Idle, but for me, after the tally guy, I just pretty much go through the portal. Buying swim takes advantage of a lot of the higher value gems after the Talisman room, so I think Tooper will be going for that.
I will be.
And you will see what that includes. I was about to talk to Moneybags for some reason.
That's actually exactly what I'm going to do right now. Actually, no, I'm not. That's a lie.
Okay, we did get a frog. Not the optimal frog, but we got a frog. since I missed the Sproder Man.
Missing the frog isn't awful for you because you do get to pick up that 25 gem. I think does a lot for you.
Yeah, for me, that's the other thing. It's kind of hard to track what's really a best egg and what's not, because you have to really think about, I guess, trading off time loss in certain areas for theater. It's really just a matter of getting the proxies. And I got this first try. Blonking there actually helps me. For some reason, Alex Dest, who had actually come up with that, I guess as a quote-unquote strat, it pretty much usually guarantees a clip there. Whereas you're really just trying to hug the wall and hoping you clip before. But that is a main difference as well. I think Tooper will be going for the 2 baskets up above and going around the, I guess, the elevators or whatever they are.
And here's a big route difference in Colossus. There's a lot of large number of gems up here that I get to grab. We're just going to stop by the ice rink.
So very different from what Tooper's going to be doing in this level. Sunny Beach, I will be going for Turtle Proxy, pretty much bouncing off the turtle's head to get through this small open hole. And that was a good example of it. It just was not high enough. Very, very finicky. Probably the hardest trick for a lot of runners to grasp. Got it 3rd try. I will gladly take that. And
3rd try is very impressive.
Okay, we'll see if I can get this. I might not be able to, yeah. This is probably technically a little bit faster anyway. It's just something I'm more comfortable with, going straight to the roof. That's the thing, especially for marathons, it's really just important to do what you're consistent with versus risk starting out. The small time saves come a lot later. But yeah, going to the button is optimally faster if you're doing that from the get-go. And here, kind of another strat I like to do. Just some cool movement. I get these gems. And I get those. We're actually really over-gemmed right now, so I'm going to take it easy.
So now on Hurricos, I get to kind of move through the ceiling here. There's nothing there, and it kind of lets you drop into the final Talisman room. And again, I'm going to stick around, grab a few gems.
Hopefully Sheep doesn't go the way it did yesterday. It might actually. I got that kind of proxy yesterday. I'm going to wait for the Sheep here. Okay, that was close, but we got it. Yeah, just a lot of, I guess the key with a lot of these proxies is just having your timing down. And as long as you have the timing down, and if you just do it enough, you should be able to get it most of the time. You can't really expect to get a lot of these all the time. I'm going to actually exit the level. Before I would have gotten those 2 bottles, but because I'm a little bit better on gems, I'm just going to leave straight away. I guess the biggest thing with me is I've been running this for so long, I just know all the gem values and what I can and can't get away with, so.
And as you can see here, I'm leaving behind those baby turtles in this level. There's no real need for them. You can get the talisman without them, so I'm just going to not even bother opening that door.
Gonna go for some faster crush strats here.
Are you doing the damage abuse?
I was, yeah. I was trying to be a little too risky with these strats and I got hit, so I'm only gonna go for 1. Okay. We're just gonna play it safe for the rest of the fight just because. I might actually... We'll see. We'll see if a Sheep is nearby. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna play it safe. You saw the one done successfully. That's pretty much what you'd do for the other hits until you're sparksless. Good RNG on that, actually. Or not RNG, but I think it's every 8 or 10 fodder that you get without dying gives you an extra life. So I guess there is such thing as a fodder route per se. Being a little too optimal about these hits.
Let's see if I could get God Sheep.
Yeah, let's just take the hit and get out of there. Kind of threw me off. That's the thing, you really have to know what you're doing in Crush. You're either going to fully commit to the damage abuse strats or just go for safe strats. You can't really do it in the middle or else you'll just start losing time. But for the sake of the marathon, I just wanted to at least show off both ways.
Okay, so I didn't get God Sheep, but that second sheep was solid. So we'll
So
take it.
we both pretty much got first try sheep in a way. Not really first attempt. First attempt would be from the floor. A lot harder to get. Really good runners only get it about maybe 1 out of 10, 1 out of 15, if they're lucky. We'll see if that's it. That was a kind of a bad walk-off double jump, but we got it. Okay. Wall glide, very good. I'm actually going to go for... I don't think I want a repeat of last night. We're just going to do safer strats, go to the hut. I could have tried walking off of that little bone dip thing, whatever it is, for an optimal way to get to over here. Good on gems. There's going to be about 35 gems in here we can get. Ah, that was a bad setup. I'll try that again. Alright.
And autumn flames, for the most part, between both of us, you're only going to see very small optimization differences because V-Snake has been playing this game longer than I am. So,
the thing that dips into the snow or whatever it is, I'm not really sure how to describe it. But like, you kind of try and get a, where the angle dips a little bit more perpendicular, you want to try and get a walk-off double jump off of that because you can stand on it, get a little bit of height. I don't really know what the name of it is.
It's like a little divot.
Yeah, divot, I guess is what I meant to say. Okay, we have a good amount of gems. Slightly under gemmed, but it really doesn't even matter because we're going to pick some up later. In fact, I might just go for bottles and scorch, just because that's a lot of good gems. Depends. The rib. Okay. Oh, that was dumb. Don't know why it hit me. These guys can be kind of a pain if you're coming in from that scenery.
And it's interesting because right now V-Snake is in Zephyr, but there has been a bit of discussion about leaving Zephyr for last and using Allura by Gulp to warp over to Zephyr after you do every other level and just dedicate everything else to collecting gems. So that way you can open Zephyr without really wasting the time you would be in Shady Oasis to gem collection.
And for there, I went into the portal instead of pausing just because it's right there. The whole... I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the pause screen is a lot slower in this game than the others, and it's kind of annoying. But since it really splits even there, why not just go through the portal instead of having to deal with pausing and leaving and all that? And we'll see that with a couple levels in a row here. We did it in Crystal. We do it in Zephyr, Skelos. And then pretty much after that is just quicker to pause and exit.
Yeah, and that's a lot different from me because it's just so much better to stay in a lot of levels and just grab gems.
It's a good glide. Could have done a better strat there. We just jumped off the bone to skip to the end of the level. As you can tell, double jump really just makes this game broken. If we didn't have double jump, well, it wouldn't be too drastically different actually. 14 Talisman, no double jump, but having the double jump in general just allows us to do and bypass a lot of things.
Could you do 14 tally without double jump? Like, would you be able to get the swim in air at the end of the run?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can do it kind of with a wall glide.
Oh, interesting.
Up to the waterfall area where you'd go around and go to Dragon Shores. But it's about 32 minutes is the record, I think, no double jump. A lot of interesting route differences. I'm actually not going to go for massless, just because it's a little too risky. Okay,
and
so
it honestly doesn't save too much for how much of a risk it is. Oh.
So I only have 79 gems. This would be the best time to really go for Scorch Bottles, so I'm going to do that coming up. Something that's preferably something you want to avoid, but again, just depending on the gem count. And depending on how many mess-ups or mistakes you might have made earlier, you might want to avoid sticking around when you can just find an area with a lot of gems at once. For here, I'm probably going to get the 5 gem over here, just because it's a quick pivot I can do and then just go in Scorch. I mean, pretty basic stuff again, just double jumping to get around to the end of the level. Tally sync. It's funny. Ah, I missed the basket. That's okay. I missed that one too. Good thing we're getting these. So that pretty much restored our gem count in a quick amount of time. Strat that used to be used a lot, I think it's used in buying swim, and I skipped going around the roundabout there where the vases are, just because I don't think I really need that. You want to usually have around 200 gems at this point. I guess a big thing to note is knowing where you stand gem-wise, exiting levels. I have a specific number in mind, usually like leaving Fracture Hills. Hopefully I can have at least 335. But again, very variable. It's just up to you to really decide what's worth it.
Yeah, and luckily, leaving Magma Cone, there's actually a lot of gems lying around, and you can ideally be short up to 26 gems and still make it up without losing significant time, maybe only a second or two.
The great thing about Fracture is it's pretty linear. It's just doing all 6 Sadiers. Again, quick skips, if you guys are familiar with that, it's just, I think it has to do with mashing through the text in a certain way. Could be RNG, I'm not sure, but pretty much activating the text box quicker. That was not a quick skip.
Oh, I tried for Atlas. I wanted to show it off.
I don't think anyone's gotten all 6.
I'm gonna try it again though.
I think it's a thing for me not to do massless every year, just so. But that was a bad.
Was very... Oh, okay, I got that. I didn't think I would. Very questionable.
That's pretty much taking advantage of the, I guess the elevation, the topography of Fracture. You can get a double jump, or you can hit right into the Satyr to save a little bit of time, and start gliding down to where you need to go next. Okay, no quick skips. They save about a second, close to a second each. You can potentially save about 5 or 6 seconds off of every single quick skip. But again, we don't really bank on that in a run, and it's so negligible that it's not really something we have to look for yet until 24. Louis B99, who's held the record for over 2 years now, I think he's the closest one to 24 still. We're trying to get 24 to happen, whether by this route or with Waterfall, which is something we won't be doing, but I guess it's the fastest way for 14 Talisman to be finished.
Fastest way, if done correctly.
If at best, so I'm very under gem, so we're gonna have to get a couple in here. I probably should have gone around the roundabout and Scorch, but that's okay. We can easily get a couple gems. But yeah, it's 1 and 4 at best, really. So not really something a lot of us like to do in real time, let alone a marathon. I might be slightly undergemmed, but that's okay. We should have enough.
I'm actually looking pretty unhealthy in terms of gems. So my route in Magma Cone, probably gonna have to stick around a little bit in that level. That's okay.
It's actually a pretty decent run. Okay, we're actually not too far off. We can get all the gems we need coming out of here. So I'm actually going to do some movement I don't think I've ever done before coming out of here. That would probably be a lot more optimal and safer to do. And this is, again, repetition is a key in this category, just knowing how to react to things. Ah, if I could have actually
Oh
pivoted there.
no.
So we'll just have enough. No, come on, pick it up. Thank you.
No one's been through that portal in years.
So I actually don't know the timing on the quick skips, so I just flame these guys.
There's not a
Actually,
specific timing. It's just, I guess, whatever works for you best or whatever you observed. For some things in this game, it's just a matter of personal preference and until there is a consistent way. Oh, come on.
Spyro.
I have the weird issue where, in this game especially, compared to Spyro 1, Spyro 2 and 3 can drop your inputs at some points. So it's just, you don't want to take things always too fast, even though you're trying to go fast. But especially in the water, you can get a lot of dropped inputs.
water is by far the worst aspect of this game in terms of how you try and go underwater.
Don't really need to get any of these gems. I'm just waiting. Pretty much a basic auto-scroller level. You want to try and take out what enemies are convenient, like in your path. You want to keep running pretty much, so Shorty runs with you, but killing the enemies actually makes him move a little bit quicker on the way. Again, I'm just kind of messing around for him to catch up. So we'll kill these guys because that is an area where he can get a little bit slowed down. Very straightforward.
Like I said, there are some people who opt to do Zephyr last and visit Shady first, and use that as an opportunity to collect gems instead of other places, since it is an auto-scroller and you have to be there no matter what.
Okay, so that was the last level in Autumn Plains. We have all 14 talismans, and you're probably wondering, is this where the run ends? And that is a big no. This is actually really where it gets started. This next fight, Gulp, I'm sorry. I saw Gulp Skip in chat. Thank you, Becky. Gulp is, I mean, you've seen it a couple times already. Very much RNG heavy, very much skill heavy, but it makes it one of the best bosses in the series, in my opinion, just because of I guess the suspense. You know, is this going to be a good run? Is this where the run dies? Is where whatever? So. Okay, he dropped an egg right on Gulp, so we are just gonna
That's
go.
very bad RNG.
And wow, Gulp growled and didn't move forward like I thought he would. So we're just gonna have to go for double barrels again.
No, I didn't need
Okay, Gulp is acting weird. Yeah, that was really strange. That's just a good example of what Gulp can do to you in a fight.
that. Oh, shoot. I miscounted.
It's actually a really, really rare set of events there. He just started turning around but didn't move. So pretty much first and third phase, or I guess the first three phases are always the same. The only difference is bombs. You cannot get 2 hits on at the same time, so we tend to always try and skip that phase.
And the way you skip the phase is by getting double barrels in the beginning. You hit
that was
both
a barrel.
barrels to Gulp, it'll skip the bomb phase.
You might as well try and go for a cool little proxy if I can get it here. I'm just gonna. A lot of it's also just taking chances and hoping you get good drops. Okay. Decent fight, all in all. I couldn't get the proxy. You can really just mess around with the Gulp and he'll give you a lot of weird things. If you go underneath him, the game tries to force you out. If you go above him, same thing. Gulp is really wrecking our day here, but it doesn't matter anyway. Hopefully we can get to another double and then just get out of this fight. But yeah, after the first 3 phases, it's really just up in the air what you'll get. And that's what really makes the fight so hard. If everything was consistent, I'm sure there'd be some good strats, but... Spyro didn't pivot. So, okay. Hopefully we can just get a drop and get this fight done. So for this, the difference is we didn't have to damage used for sparks because we're not actually trying to. Well, we don't have swim, and that's the issue. This is where the time comes back into play. We will see something a little different from what we saw yesterday in 40 Orb. Instead of swimming to get the fireball and all abilities, this is about 25 seconds slower from what Tooper does.
And this is actually my chance to kind of catch up, not only with that 25 seconds, but hopefully I'll get a little bit of better RNG than what V-Snake got going into the gulp fight. But it is RNG in the end, so.
I missed both. Both penguins were proxies, but they just weren't high enough.
Oh, this is a very good set.
All 3 penguins were proxies,
No,
they just weren't
dude.
high enough.
I had the perfect opportunity for double barrels and I just didn't set it up correctly. That's very unfortunate.
I'm just gonna go this way because I like going this way. That would have been bad if we actually fell there. So kind of slow, but hey, we made it in. So this is where a lot of the fun starts. Or I guess continues. So here, I'm going to do something that's a little bit slower, but a little more consistent. Oh, come on. Getting the clip here is a pain.
Barrel.
Especially when someone like me has just gotten on the wall so many times, and you'll see that later. Okay.
I think that's 1 double. Ideally, I'll get 2 more of those double hits, but we will see. Barrel. Hopefully this is a bomb. A rocket, even better.
Okay.
Oh, that's not good. I should have taken a little bit of steps away. Now that I have green sparks, there's a chance that instead of getting something I can hit gulp with, it'll spawn a chicken.
Okay, so something really wild here. We pretty much just Sproder Man all the way around, which is using, I guess, the wall to your advantage. Kind of similar to wall gliding, but instead you gain height at a much faster pace. And this is really only doable in Spyro 2. Spyro 3, it just maintains your height. But since we have the double jump mechanic, it actually helps us a little bit better. So we can get a lot of height off of that with the right sloped walls. Skip into theater, same process as 40 Orb, getting all abilities this way. But now we leave. We hope to get swim in air, and we hope to fight Ripto to end the fight, or end the run. Pretty much a giant, semi-intended boss rush.
And unfortunately there, I got pretty decent RNG minus that 1 triple bomb. And had I gotten that initial double barrel, that fight would have played out really well, but it didn't happen today, unfortunately.
Okay. We got the good swim in air. That was the faster swim in air. It's funny because left side near the waterfall used to be a lot easier for me, and this is actually the faster, quote-unquote, harder way, but it's actually more consistent. But for this, again, it's really just what you feel comfortable with, because with something so negligible at the end of the run that can be a real run killer, it's better just not to take chances. But I'm really happy I got that, so time should be coming up soon on this.
Yeah, and unfortunately I miss all 3 penguins, so I'm going the long way around.
Went for an early hit there. You can actually skip the cutscene, and you can actually get that hit while the cutscene is playing out. We'll go for the swag quit shot here. Got that. Again, Ripto has usually a set cycle depending on how you move and when you hit him. I'm not the best at this fight, but I've been doing it long enough to really know where he's going to go, so kind of makes up for itself.
Nice. I got over the wall in the first try, which is super sick.
Okay. And I was just slightly off for that last hit, but that is time. I think that's actually, it was almost a 27.
And that's actually a super big difference there. I just grabbed the fireball and I get to leave immediately. I don't really need to stick around. Now all I have to do is hit swim in air.
That looked like a 2808 or 2809. from the looks of it. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I think I've gotten to 28 every year in the marathon. So okay, so 2809 it looked like, maybe 2810.
I don't think
Oh, I charged way too soon there. That's unfortunate.
I suppose you have to go now?
Yeah, I'd better. They'll be missing.
I had the right height. I
still
just,
got a vacation to take.
I don't know why I went for it so soon.
Before you go.
Fun fact, for the last 3 years I've actually done a 14 tally race, and this is the first time I've actually won a race. So
Congrats.
there's that.
Alright, that was perfect.
Spyro,
I do go for the slower one just because visually it's easier for me. I kind of line up with the water there that's you can barely see from out of bounds.
Yeah, so Tooper does it a slightly more consistent way. It's only about a second difference, but yeah, that pretty much, if you're good at it, gives you it almost every time.
And hopefully this will be a sub 30. I don't really know where I'm at in terms of time, but that was the goal with this, so
You might not make the sub 30, we'll see. Well,
that's not going to help me.
Okay, come on, Sparks.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of vacation to catch up on.
Okay, that's fine.
see another method of getting that quick shot there. You can just aim and hit the where Ripto's going to be after you skip that cutscene in time. And same process. You get an earlier hit. If you don't get that hit, you kind of have to know where he's going again.
And time. Alright, so that was 14 tally. The two main routes that people use.
Two most popular routes. There is a
Yeah.
faster route than each one we did, but
Mhm.
again, it's just something that's only used by a couple people. And in order to give you guys the best experience, these are the two different routes that are widely used. So yeah, I enjoyed that race. Thank you guys for your support, for watching.
Good
And
games, V-Snake.
hopefully some of you guys, yeah, good game to you. Hopefully some of you guys are inspired and want to become highly epic runners like us.
Yeah.
So I guess that's it, and we'll see Wed with 100 egg next.